Hi, this is Danny D, and welcome back to Pathways of Hope. Today we reflect on the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 12 to 16, and it's a very short Gospel, so let me read it to you. This is when Jesus chooses the 12 apostles. He says, "Now during those days he went out to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples and chose 12 of them, whom he also named apostles. Simon, who he named Peter, and his brother Andrew and John, and James, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas, and James, son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor." I just want to highlight two points. First point is when Jesus went up to the mountain and prayed, and he spent the night in prayer to God. In the Old Testament, at a time when Israel was divided to the north and south, this was also known as the divided kingdom. There were 38 kings in total, 19 in the north and 19 in the south. And of the 38 kings, there were only 5 good men, 5 good kings: Jehoshaphat, Jotham, Hezekiah, Josiah, and Asa. And during their reign, there's an average of 34 years. Their kingdom grew in terms of land and wealth, and the people were happy. And their reign had 2 major things in common: that these 5 kings always worshiped God and offered sacrifices. 2, each of those 5 kings, before they entered battle, they would turn to the Lord. They would ask the Lord, "Should I or should I not attack?" And the Lord would either ask them to go forward or would fight the battles for them. The Lord, and they rarely lost any battle. So lesson number 1, like King Jesus before he chose his 12 apostles, and these great kings before they entered their battles, before they faced their enemies, they offer a quiet moment and turn to the Lord. And I know several men and women who live their lives this way. Whenever they face their enemies, they would turn to the Lord and offer a time of quiet. These friends of mine rarely lose any battles, and that has made all the difference in their lives. And you and I, we too are invited to live that life. Point number 2. Jesus called his disciples, and they said there were 100 of them. And from them, Jesus chose 12. And why 12? Bible scholars say that this represents the 12 tribes of Jacob, also known as Israel. This was when Jacob chose and appointed his 12 sons to rule the 12 tribes of Israel. And from these 100 disciples, Jesus chose 12, whom he named apostles, meaning the sent ones, meaning men sent on a mission, men he chose to rule in the new Israel. And you know, these were ordinary men. There were fishermen, there were tax collectors, Some were siblings, some were married, and some were single. Some were craftsmen, tradesmen, and there were farmers. If these men, ordinary men, are qualified, so are you and I. Now, I sense today the Lord asking you and I to say yes to being sent, to being His apostle, to be fishers of men, to be rulers of His kingdom here on earth today, to be kings in our own way, fighting life's battles, fighting the kingdom's battles. And these are not easy tasks. And it is why the Lord calls us up the mountain to pray. And after this, our exile, we will see God's glory that He has prepared for all of us. But before that, we fight in God's love, peace, and joy. Have a great weekend.